New best friend of Ed Sheeran. Now it's time for Talking Teamwork, presented by Dropbox. Katie George is somewhere now with Charles Leclerc. We're going to link up with her in just a minute. Obviously, it's so instrumental for these drivers to have a good drive, to pit as few times as possible. But Spencer, when you consider that Max Verstappen has won 4 races this season, all by 10 or more seconds, every single hundredth of a second matters, which is why pit stops matter. Red Bull, of course, had the first sub-2 second pit stop earlier this season, but there are some serious stakes in pit row, no?
Absolutely. And when you're talking about a sport where we're trying to pick up a 10th here, a second here, a second would be huge. When you're talking about doing a pit stop in under 2 seconds, which McLaren has done, when you talk about being consistently fast like the Red Bull team's done, when you talk about the degree of training and coordination that goes into this, it's gone from a point where the only athletes on the track are no longer the drivers. It's everybody with the teams, to the point where they have their own little cultures. I don't know if you've seen, but as somebody who is an appreciator of swole and swollenness,
that's right,
Aston Martin's team,
CrossFit God,
man, they are jacked.
They got some dudes, huh?
They got some, listen, they go straight to the rugby field and they're like, give me 2 props. And those are our jack men, right? You give us some forwards, and they're going to carry the tires. And those tires are heavy. They require real skill. You can see Red Bull's been incredible. If you want to know why they're blowing everyone out of the water in every facet of the game, it's this kind of attention to detail. 21 pit stops under 2 seconds. McLaren
had the 1.8 second pit stop at the tail end of last year in China on his 23rd lap, and his second stop 2 races ago. Max Verstappen registered the 1.9 second pit stop, and it's just incredible that we're measuring such a finite amount of timing, quite literally, to such an instrumental amount of actual racer success. And we're seeing all of these numbers, and we're tossing at you all of these figures. Big shout out to Darren Ayotte back in our Bristol headquarters, man. He compiles all of these numbers that we get to nibble on and digest on, and it's just ridiculous that we're talking about 1.8 seconds being impressive, because in any other context, Spencer, damn, that's real bad.
1.8, yeah, no, I have no idea what you're talking about, Gary, and we'll skip right past that. I'm just going to go. If you want to see what the opposite of this is, because we are talking about excellence, pay attention to teams that have struggled in this category. When you talk about, watch Valtteri Bottas, okay? That team's got a lot of issues. One of them has been pit stops. When you talk about a 10-second pit stop, that's unreal in F1, at the far end of the spectrum. So when the struggle is real, it will become apparent to anyone watching.
So I want to do a little bit of exercise, and I'm just warning our production back home in Bristol that we are going to give you literally 10 seconds of dead air, just because we're talking about finite timing. But this is the equivalent amount of time Max Verstappen has been winning his races by. He's been winning by more than 10 seconds, but at least 10 seconds. So I want us to give us dead air for the next 10 seconds.
Here comes Max.
3, 2, 1, quiet.
There it goes.
Second place just crossed the finish line.
There we go. That's a gap.
That's absurd. And Miami lends itself to, and there are a couple of circuits throughout this season where teams try, can we fathom a one-stop race? Miami, you can just throw that out the window just because of the way the compounds are set up. They're going on mediums, they're going on hards. We know we're going to get hardcore tired decks, so you can already build to win.
There are 2 things today that I want everyone to watch for if there's any degree of intrigue to this race. One, tire management, and that is really a fancy word for who can drive a car that's not necessarily performing the way you want it to. I know anyone listening to this can identify, right? Maybe it's making a weird noise. Maybe you're hoping you can get it to the gas station. That's going to be a lot of drivers today when it comes to the quality of their tires. Because when you see Lando Norris struggle with a fine McLaren machine and say, I have no grip. When you hear Max Verstappen say, this is not fun, I assure you it would be a nightmare for the mortal human.
You're a Florida man, and actually you made this good comparison when we were in Las Vegas compared to here in Miami. And I know to get super scientific with everybody, right? But it's literally just the way the compounds are here, how much moisture is in the air on the track. That's a big factor that we're about to see play out here in about 25 minutes. But alas, that was Talking Teamwork presented by Dropbox. You can visit Dropbox.com to learn more. Meanwhile, Katie George